Can we start? Jax, take your seat, please. No. Just after the greetings. The first panel is just after the greetings. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, dear fellows. I am Professor Nikos Bakounakis, the president of the Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture, which organizes for the first time the Thessaloniki Book Fair. Our foundation was established some months ago, supervised by the Ministry of Culture, and its main aim is to promote books and policies, public policies related to books, to contribute to the visibility of the Greek book, Greek literature and Greek writers abroad, to provide financial tools to the publishing world in Greece, to support translation of Greek literature in other language, and to conduct research about the data about the publishing world in Greece, in Europe, and generally abroad. Our stand is in the center of this hall, and you can visit and to take more information about our activities, our programs, and our financial program, the Greek Lit, that is very important for the translation. We finance 75% of the total cost of a translation. So it's an opportunity to know our program and to contribute to the translation of Greek literature. So you can reach our site elivip.gr, and where you can find all information about our program in Greece and abroad. This year, this program, the professional program, is organizing for the third time. I think NOPI is the third issue, yes. And this year is richer and more extensive, as our printed program and digital program clearly shows. That is, the professional program is really very rich and very, let's say, polyphonic, and with a lot of it's very topical, and with a lot of panels related to the book fairs, to rights, to artificial intelligence, to translation, and other interesting topics. Thank you once again for your presence here in Thessaloniki. And I give the floor to the Vice President of the Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture, Dr. Panagiotis Kapos, who is participating to the professional program. That is the second panel with a presentation of the Greek book market, that is with very important data information. And after Panagiotis Kapos, it's NOPI, and we start with our first panel about the impact of book fair on the life of the economy, of the cultural aspects or diplomatic aspects in cities where book fair are organized, with Elena Pazzoli and Jax Thomas. So, Panagiotis, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Panagiotis Kapos, the Vice President of Hellenic Books, Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture. We warmly thank you for your presence here. We welcome you in Thessaloniki, in Greece, in our 21st Thessaloniki International Book Fair, and in our third professional program. As Mr. President Nikos Bakounakis told you, this program is about connecting the publishing ecosystem, professionals from all around the world, publishers, agents, translators, illustrators, and also it's a very good opportunity for all of you to know better our rich publishing production, our Greek publishers, and the rich publicity of the books and all topics. I mean, from literature to fiction to non-fiction to children and young adult books. Sorry, and of course, it's a very good opportunity to know from your side your markets, your insights, and your concerns about recent issues, contemporary issues. I mean, artificial intelligence is one of that. And we are looking forward to hear from you. And afterwards, we will present the panorama of the Greek book publishing industry. So, with no further ado, Mrs. Nopi Hadjigeorgiou, our coordinator of a professional program and international program, will tell you more about this program. And Ms. Nopi, take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kapos. I don't know, a lot of information about the program is already sent, so I just want to say welcome, dear professionals, dear fellows, dear friends. We're very glad to welcome you here in Thessaloniki, in our book fair, in our professional program. It's the third edition, as we said, and we see year after year this program to grow and open and be bigger and more interesting and more diverse. The topics and the meetings and everything between you and the Greek publishing world, because now year after year they know better how it works and they want to meet you and meet each other and understand and share ideas, share good practices, open the dialogue. That was the idea of the name of this place. This is the dialogue stage, and behind this it's the dialogue right center. So I wish you good luck. I wish to all of us good luck, of course, but for you to make a lot of business, a lot of exchanges, and more books to be translated and published between our countries. Welcome and thank you. Lambrini Kouzeli, please.
Thank you, Nopi. Hello, good afternoon to all of you from me as well. I'm Lambrini Kouzeli. I'm a book critic and journalist specializing in books in Tovima newspaper. I'll be moderating the first panel with two exceptional ladies. They don't need much introduction because they're very well known. Mrs. Elena Pazzoli, the director of the International Children's Book Fair in Bologna, and Jacques Thomas, the guest director of Bologna Book Plus, a very recent expansion of Bologna Children's Book Fair that has celebrated 61 years, 62 last March. So please join me in the panel. Yes. Well, the topic of our discussion is the importance and the role of international book fairs in exchange of ideas and in business. But there was a very challenging times for international book fairs a few years back during the years of the pandemic. And some of them didn't make it, some of them they failed. And there was a big discussion about how the internet can and might replace all living interaction. But since then, we have seen other book fairs to thrive and expand. And Bologna Children's Book Fair is such an example. How did you make it, and what, a few years later, after the pandemic, people come again and again in larger numbers in Bologna. So what an international book fair has to offer to the book industry, to the community where it belongs? What could you say?
Thank you very much for this invitation, and hello to everyone. For me, it's the second time here. I was it was my fortune to be here for the first edition of the professional program, and so I'm so happy to be back again. Yes, right. That was very challenging time, but I have to say that. Of course, it was horrible for the world, but the good in that was that we all tried to develop our creativity. I can say that we have never felt to be so much connected to our community as in those times. We were one of the first fairs that had to be cancelled. And so I remember it was a kind of a pioneer era, you know, what shall we do? So there's no need to say what we did immediately, the digital platform, a lot of online events, and a real edition of the Bologna Children's Book Fair. And I remember that in all our discussion, there was a word that was kind of a mantra to convince us that we were not losing our fairs, and it was serendipity. And that mantra was very real, because what is almost completely missing in the online activities is exactly that one, that you can meet, but after so many years now of online meetings and events, we all know that they are so great to keep us connected. They are so great to talk, to make decisions also, but they're not very great in terms of warm dialogue. It's so we quite immediately understood when we did the fair again after two missing editions. It was clear that people really wanted to reconnect physically. And I remember that the first time we did the fair, of course, it was smaller than usual, but you could feel that people were so happy to be there again. And this, then, yes, I think that everybody realized the need of meeting, and yes, it's true, the fair increased. Also because the book market increased during the pandemic. We are now experiencing, I think, all over the world, a slight, the market is going a little slower because that was so big an increase. And now, yes, we have more countries represented, we have more exhibitors, and I think that what we offer is the physical platform where people can meet, and also, of course, we work to address in a way to help these connections, picking up the hottest topics. And again, and I'm very happy because here is my colleague Jax, the pandemic, it is thanks to the pandemic that Bologna Book Plus started. We had this idea.
So,
Greece as the first guest of honor.
Exactly.
To remind this.
Yes.
I think it took me some time to recover. The world went into lockdown on March the 20th, and the London Book Fair was due to start on March the 20th. So we had some people who'd flown in for the London Book Fair stuck in London, because I was running London at the time. The sense of loss people had for not being able to attend that book fair was huge, actually. And I think that the book fair community, as you said, was shown in all its strengths because people wanted to replace it with something, albeit online. In terms of the world coming back, I think Thessaloniki is a really good example of how people came back wanting book fairs. We were here 3 years ago. This has grown enormously. People want to meet. They want to be curious. They want to discover new markets. I think books are more important than ever, really, and book fairs too.
The president of LEVIP mentioned earlier a very important word, diplomatic relations, and how book fairs help countries. Greece and Italy are very well connected countries and literary traditions from centuries back. We have renewed that connection, being country of market of honor 3 years ago, and now Italy being the country of honor in this book fair. How the book fairs help these relations between countries, long existing or non-existing at all, to begin or develop? How do you have experienced that in your careers?
Italy guest of honor.
I see that the institution of the guest of honor country in the fairs help enormously the mutual dialogue between the countries, also because on that occasions most of the countries increase the translation grants that are so important. Of course, there are countries that maybe are not ready yet to be the guest of honor, but I think that it is mandatory for an international book fair to understand what countries are developing publishing industries, what countries are worth to be explored, and I think that what we do, not only Bologna but also other international book fairs, is exactly that, to be very open and to do a year-long scouting work. Attending so many fairs is not just to promote the fair, but it is to understand how you can make your fair richer and bring more publishers and being more inclusive. For example, a huge result of the pandemic was that during the 2 online editions, we decided we didn't have exhibitors, so the 60-year tradition of the Bologna Ragazzi Awards was the publishing houses admitted to the award are the exhibitors, with the idea that Bologna is great, all the publishers are in Bologna. That's not true. that's not true. So we found ourselves not having any exhibitor because the fair was not existing, but we wanted anyway to highlight what has been produced across the world. And so we decided to open the award to all publishers in the world, be past exhibitors or never exhibited in Bologna. And after the pandemic, we found that we had to go ahead with this because the idea is that the best service that we can provide our exhibitors with is bringing to our stage books and independent small publishing houses that maybe are still hidden because they can't afford, they're not ready for the international market.
I think you asked about diplomacy. I think every clever country has soft power and understands the power of books and how books open doors onto different cultures and different worlds. And you're absolutely right. Greece was the inaugural guest of honor at Bologna Book Plus, and it was an absolute pleasure because we all learnt so much about Greece, what it has to offer, in a contemporary cultural way, because we can all get very stuck in thinking a country. We all know Greece has a fantastic, rich history, unrivaled, rivaled only by Italy, really. But at the end of the day, lifting a lid, opening a window, whatever you want to say, in terms of contemporary Greek culture, contemporary Greek people, contemporary Greek thinking, politics, architecture, art, everything. It is a guest of honor program allows you to do that. And it's a source of great regret to me that in a lot of English speaking countries, we are moving away from investing in things like guest of honor programs and those cultural initiatives. So I think it's absolutely vital. I think a book fair plays a really huge role. And a guest of honor program is something that works on many, many levels, from intergovernmental to interprofessional to consumers in the bookshops. So I'm a huge fan.
Another very important characteristic of book fairs is that they're exerting an influence in the book world. They set trends, or maybe we are presented with new trends there, even if they don't actually set them. What are the book trends this year that have emerged in Bologna, this year's Bologna Children's Book Fair? What does the market discusses or wants or needs, and the authors and the creators as well?
We have seen a trend in the last years that has been increasing also due to the world dramatic situations, COVID, wars, attacks, and we've seen more and more children's books telling stories about the real problems of the world. And we've seen at the beginning they were books that were meant to be educational, to teach children about these real things. But now we've seen that the industry has increased a lot in creativity when it comes to these topics. There's a big issue why children's books are always expected to teach. That's something that is completely separated from the the big issue of enjoying reading. And I have seen a big increase of wonderful books talking about the life issues that are all the sustainability issues, when not sustain only environmental sustainability, but all the goals. And now I see a huge production that is far from the old issue, just to teach and make children aware of these topics. And it has increased a lot. In the meantime, there's also an important increase of interest in fairy tales that in a way could be a counterpart of this. Yes. And also, and it's not a rhetorical, that is what we really see, what we have really seen in the last years. There's such an increase in quality books from small countries, from countries that also don't have a huge tradition in children's books. And this is amazing. And I think that this is the best output of the international relationships.
I think trends at book fairs are there to give a platform to the trends that are bubbling up within the publishing industry. So we staged a huge sustainability panel this year. You also support women in publishing hugely. That's your thing, Elena. And also, we can't ignore the topic of AI, which is obviously is now coming into trade publishing. Well, obviously, in the academic STM world, AI has been adopted as ever before the trade publishing world. There are fierce debates around AI for good and the challenges it also produces. Book fairs are a really good moment in time to give a platform for international voices, for different experiences, to be able to debate these challenges and these opportunities. And the wonderful thing about publishing is that there are some really good brains in publishing. So where there's a challenge, we generally find out that we can make an opportunity. And I think that's where book fairs are really valuable, in having those debates, sometimes very passionate debates, but they are conversations that need to be had, freedom of expression, all of those quite tricky topics. A book fair can play a crucial role.
We have time for one more question. Okay. So, all right. So, you mentioned sustainability, and there's a big issue on how a fair can be sustainable. How do you address that question?
We have started to make the event more sustainable in all the different aspects, starting from a sharp reduce of the carpets, all we can do in terms of because you know we are not only fair organizers, we are also the owner of the fairgrounds. So there are actions that we have been taking in the last years to make all the fairground more sustainable, and of course, and this is what we can do as an actor. And then there is all we can do as a stage, as an international stage, and that is what Jax was mentioning. So all our efforts to bring publishers, and I have to say that it was not so simple to bring publishers to discuss about what is the worldwide publishing industry doing to become more sustainable. You know, I will never tell the names, but my invitation was not accepted by many publishers. It took time to put together the panel. At the end of the day, it was a very good panel, but it was not so simple because actually for an industry like the publishing industry, there are issues that are, I mean, the paper itself, the shipments, the inks, the product itself, in a way. And of course, we see that there's still a strong commitment in keeping high the value of the physical book. So I think that everybody has to try play their own role, starting also from the small things.
But also the UN's SDG Club, the sustainability goals.
Yeah, you know, we are have partnered with the UN SDG clubs from the very beginning. Now we have built a partnership with the UN publication area in order to promote, to collect and scout the best books on sustainability across the world. And then, of course, the aim is also to address, to invite publishers to work harder and harder on that topics. We presented a big book exhibition in Bologna, and I'm very proud to say that from February for 2 months, this exhibition will be exhibited at the UN headquarters in New York. And this is a way to contribute, I think.
I think another way that people exhibitors contribute as well in terms of, you can see it in Frankfurt, you can see it in Bologna, in terms of people who are attending the book fairs. They're very, publishers, especially large publishers, are now very focused in who they send. So rights trading is the name of the game, and whereas a lot of editors used to attend Frankfurt and London, for example, and now it's very much rights people. So fewer people are taking planes, and I mean that all has a knock-on effect on the sustainability of an event. But it's a knotty problem, sustainability, and we all play our part. You know, the aeroplanes that bring us here all play their part as well, and they're all going to run on olive oil, I'm sure.
The other big issue of our times, diversity, inclusivity. You mentioned that you invite people from all over the world, small countries, big markets, small markets, big editors, big publishers, small publishers. Are there any other specific actions towards inclusivity in Bologna?
I have to say that we have a big help from the Italian Trade Agency. That's also the organizer of the Italy Pavilion, because after the pandemic, they've always supported us in a smaller way in the past. But after the pandemic, we have developed a big program together in order to try to be more inclusive, and so to give a real help to publishing houses from around the world that can't afford to come to participate in a fair. And in the meantime, I think that inclusivity is a big word, you know, because there are many different areas of, and now we, in the last few years, the months, not years, in the last few months, I think that we have seen and heard words and statements that we had never thought it was possible to hear. And now, so I think that not only the first, but all the publishing industry now has a real task that is to keep high the attention on the inclusivity topics, because there are rights that are going to be forgotten, I think.
Well, 10 years ago, I ran the first inclusivity conference in London for publishing. And I'm pleased to say that publishing in London has moved on enormously since then. It is a much more, not because of my conference, but it was a topic that everybody was willing to embrace. And so they were willing to attend the conference and willing to discuss how to make publishing that had been very privileged, really, to make it more reflective of British society. And I think that has worked to a certain extent, but salaries are still a real problem in publishing. So salaries in publishing do cut out some people who need to earn money for their families, a lot of money. And Eleanor is absolutely right. Each and every one of us has a responsibility at the moment with possibly some of the rhetoric in today's world about being very responsible and watchful about the language we use, how we operate, and the power of the book, and possibly some brave books that need to be published discussing these topics. Inclusivity works in a completely 360-degree way. It's not a top-down, it's an across way, it's an around way. And inclusivity needs to work across the world, in the shape of the world. It can't just be us deciding who is inclusive. We all need to be inclusive with each other. And I think now more than ever before.
I have left my my mobile on my seat, so I can't keep track of time. So thank you very much, Elena Pazzoli, Jack Thomas. Enjoy Thessaloniki Book Fair. Hope to see you again.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Elena Pazzoli, Jack Thomas, ladies, of course, Lambrini Kouzelli. She changed her flight and to come early today and moderate this very interesting panel as an opening to this series of panels and discussions about international book markets, about publishing, about translation, about, of course, artificial intelligence, and many more interesting discussions. But we all know that all of this kind of discussion mostly we do at the book fairs. And now we are here again to open the dialogue and discuss more and more. And I just wanted to add to this very, really interesting talk that, I mean, now this year we have Italy as the guest of honor. And this didn't happen by chance, because we started working, we were the guest of honor in Bologna, we had collaborations, discussions, etc., and now we are so happy to have Italy for the first time as the guest of honor in Greece. We are so close, but it's the first time they are the guest of honor. We are all very happy, and we believe that's a great opportunity for us. So now we start. We are very glad to present you the Greek book market data, numbers, and information by Mr. Panagiotis Kapos, the Vice President of the Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture, and a small talk after this with three publishers, members of the board of the HFBC. You can, of course, if you have any questions or things you want to know more, you can ask and take part to the discussion that will follow. So, Mr. Kapos.